CQ, calling CQ, the Old Friends Net. The 160 meter Old Friends Net. We meet here every night at 8 p.m. on 1864 kilocycles, and we run AM only for the. Let me checking some things here. There we go. Okay, so that should help. CQ, the Old Friends Net. We will take a list of call signs and put them together and put them in order, and it's get into a round table organized system of turning it over to each other, etc., etc. So those wishing to check in now, please call N4LQ.
KN4R. Good evening from K4QE. KN4R.
Okay, I got KN4R first and then K4QE. Tony and Brian, stand by to see if any more check-ins. I saw a big carrier pop up there. Anybody else want to check in? A little static there in the background. Not very bad. I think the band is going to be very cooperative tonight. So I'm sure there'll be some more check-ins. Usually is in a few minutes. We'll just kind of hang around here, go one round, and then we'll take some more check-ins. So, well, today I was working on a VHS tape, transferring it to YouTube and so forth, and just about done with that. That's my first time in doing it, and it's kind of a strange process, but I don't use any memory on my computer that way. YouTube gets to store it. So there you go. Forgot to latch the gate last night, and the dog got loose, and I looked out the front door, and there she was out there by the road, and she came in the house with no problems, and nothing was, she didn't get hurt or anything. I always worry about such little dogs, and they're not used to cars and things. So, what you been up to today, Brian? Anything new going on? KN4R, N4LQ.
Okay, Steve. Good evening to you and also Tony. This is Brian, KN4R, Silver Ford, and I'm using the modern gear here and my ACOM 1000. And very good on your YouTube transfer. And sorry about your dogs getting loose. I was working out in the garage most of the day, sorting through, trying to figure out what to take to Orlando to try to sell or trade and what to keep and all that. So I've been staging some stuff. And Reese was in the garage with me, but he tended to walk off. So he walked off like 3 or 4 times. One time he was up in the cul-de-sac, up in the road, walking around the road, right in the middle of the road. So, you know, it's like a child. You got to, and if you put him in the fence, he just slips through it. And if you put him in the house, he just flips out. So, you know, it's kind of tough to get something done. So, but anyway, making progress. My ham friend Larry Will, W3LW, he's coming over tomorrow. Sometime, I would guess mid-afternoon, and leaving and heading out Monday morning, which is good, and then I can continue packing up and all that kind of stuff. So, Tony, what you been up to? K4QE in the group, KN4R.
Okay, Brian, good evening to you. And Steve, I'm pretty sure I heard Billy in there too, KO4SSY. Not much going on here. I just got done dinner a little bit ago, and then I ran and then I was on I checked into the 3938 North Carolina SSB net, of which I'm a net control station. I didn't do net control tonight, but I usually assist the guys who do because I'm right smack in the middle of where all the action is, so I am typically a good relay station. We have check-ins all the way up and down the eastern seaboard. Anyway, had a pretty hectic day at work today, but got through it. One of the things I had to do was put in, we were transitioning to a new time management system, and we were on a blackout for the entire month of January. And they opened up this week to enter in all of our time for the previous month. So I hate doing time management, but I had to fill it all in. So that was my chore for today. But other than that, it was a fairly productive day. So that's about it. So back to you, Steve. Keep an ear out for Billy.
I'm listening for Billy. Billy, is there a Billy out there? KO4SSY, go ahead.
Well,
kind of, yeah, okay. I don't know how John was able to hear you, but you were real strong there for a second, then your audio dropped out. So, are you still working on that Valiant? Over?
But I'm needing to do some adjustments to the tuner before I put the amplifier in there a little more on the reflex side than I want it to be. So, anyway, if you can hear me, I don't know what's going on with it. I put another terminal strip in there this evening just for that audio section. Try to get them further apart. I don't know, something when you turn the audio up, try to get the audio up, it arcs off on that darn thing. So I don't know what's going on. I'm about to give up on it. It's about more than I can figure out. I don't know. So I took the one that arced off the second time, and I just and went back to working on again, and then I guess the other side arced off. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's causing it to do that. I don't know. Maybe I need to get the manual out and go through that negative B or whatever, the negative voltage, and see what's. I don't know. Scratching my head. Give up. I give up. Throw it out in the yard. Quit. I guess I could bring the other one over here. Put it up here. It works. Or at least I think it does. I did last time I checked it.
Yeah, okay. I think I know which terminal strip you're referring to, and I think both the plates of both the modulator tubes come down and go to that strip, and they're like not even a half an inch apart, and it's just a phenolic or a wafer type terminal strip. So maybe it needs a new terminal strip. Once it arcs like that, it forms a conductive, leaves a conductive path of carbon somehow, and that's probably your only recourse. That's a little bit of work. I hope you can get it fixed or get the other one and bring it in. But for a second there, you were real super strong, so I guess you had the amplifier on there for a second. But as it is, it's a little bit on the ragged edge. I looked on the lightning map, and there's a tremendous thunderstorm all over the west, way out there, above Texas and all that. It's just a huge mess. and I'm sure that's what we're hearing here. And I guess it's creeping over this way. I'm looking at our forecast, and it looks like showers are predicted for the weekend, next weekend, not this weekend. So I don't know. I doubt that that's it. Anyway, so I'm still running the little AF67. That's the neatest one. I like it for 80 and 40. I mean 80 and 160. It's just easy to switch back and forth. It's easy to load up, and puts out just the right amount of power for the amplifier, so I can run full output that way, and good modulation, I think. Anyhow, real fine on being an NCS there, Tony. I forgot the frequency of 39 something. I guess that's what is the basis for that net? Is it just a net for whoever, or is there some underlying purpose for it, or what exactly is that? And Brian, okay on the wiener dog getting loose, and Larry Will coming by. I know you'll have something for him to work on. So let's see if anybody else wants to check in. Right now we've got Brian and Tony and Bill, KO4SSY. Who else would like to check in? N4LQ.
It's WB4NKL.
Foxtrot 2 uniform.
And we got two more stragglers coming in. Hello, let's see, WB4NKL, Cliff, and WF2U Mirror. So go ahead, Cliff, and then turn it to Mirror, and then back to me if we don't have anybody else come along.
Okay, Steve. It's WB4NKL with a whole ton of QRN. There's some storms somewhere. Got pretty nice here today, up to about 60, and got in about 3 miles on the walk. And been working out here in the shop. Finished up Dave's Ranger, and I think he's going to come pick that up tomorrow. And getting ready for Orlando, like Brian was saying. Chuck is looking for somebody to go to Orlando with him. I mentioned your name, Steve. I don't know if he might call you, but he's determined to go. So if he don't find somebody, he's probably heading down by himself. Go ahead, Mayor. WF2U. It's WB4NKL.
Roger, Cliff. WB4NKL and the group. This is WF2U. Good evening, everybody. I just joined. All I heard a little bit of and very weak. Actually, not weak, but the static is pretty strong, and was not too much margin between the static and the signal. But you, Cliff, are coming in 100%. Still, over the static. And Steve, you are strong and making it easy, way over the static. And yeah, there is a whole bunch of storms around out west. And it's noisy. Anyway, I was doing some stuff in the house, and by the time I realized it's 8 o'clock, it was 8:05 that I turned everything on. And anyway, still running the GRC 19, 100 watts carrier output into the end-fed halfway for 160. It was nice. I was up in Columbus about between 4 and 5 at the vet. My senior dog was getting acupuncture as usual once a month. The keep him moving nicely and being able to herd without too much of a. He's doing really great. It's just preventative, like maintenance, and another one is getting shots for maintaining her what is a CCL with people. She had a bilateral equivalent in the rear right after she had puppies, because they were very, very heavy and she had a huge litter. And we instead of surgery, which would have been thousands of dollars, we have a nice dog sports medicine vet who did it just with treatments and infrared and physical therapy and everything, and she's great. She's just getting once a month a shot, so to prevent getting that area. So anyway, that's where I was at. Oh yeah, I wanted to say about the temperature. That was the whole idea. When I went up to Columbus, it was 67 degrees. By the time I got out of the vet, it was 55. Less than an hour. So anyway, back to you, Steve. N4LQ, W up to you.
All right, very good, Mayor. Anybody else want to check in? I don't hear anything. This is N4LQ and the Old Friends Net on 1864 KC's, just having a good time tonight. Mayor, you sound better tonight on the GRC 19 than you have in the past. I think it keeps getting a little better every night. I think you're getting that carbon mic broke in or something. Let's see, Cliff, Roger on the Ranger, and maybe you can tell us what was wrong with it. Be interesting to know. And fine on your 3-mile walk. I didn't go that far. I just went about half a mile today, but I stopped in the woods on the way back, and that tree that fell over, of course I sawed it up already, but there's about a 6-foot section still attached to the root ball, and so I undermined it up close to the root ball so I can get the saw down through it without getting in the mud, and cut it down as close as I can to the root ball, and I may eventually get it to where I can shove it over into the ditch. That's my goal anyway. It's something I don't really have to do. It's just something to do, you know. Kids like to dig. And Chuck did call, and I told him we probably talked about me wanting to go, and of course I'd still like to go, but there's just no way, and the XYL needs me here more than Orlando, so I'm staying here, and she'd have her hands full, and she's been having some trouble lately with I don't know, she has this heart monitor thing that she bought somewhere, and it's online with somebody, and she's had trouble in the past with that, and had to have surgery about 25 years ago or so. But it may be coming back. I don't know. But it went off, set the alarm off, and she checked it. It was pretty messed up there for a while, and it got calmed down. And so she's trying to get an appointment with a heart specialist, but that isn't easy. I mean, these people just they're hard to get. I mean, it takes months to get an appointment and get your foot in the door. So I don't know what the deal is. The alternative is just go to the hospital and take whatever they offer, I guess. So let's see, anything else? Got the T150 of parts, and I soaped up the cabinet and got it all cleaned off. I'm going to spray it. Got the chassis up here on the desk, looking it over, and I plugged it in, and it's putting out a little signal. The VFO actually works very weakly. It's a little rough, of course. I'm sure the capacitors are going to have to be changed, but that's just par for the course. And get those old things out of there, and it'll clean it up, and it'll probably work. So over to you, Brian. KN4R, N4LQ.
Yeah, okay, Steve, very good. N4LQ in the growing group, Brian, KN4R. Good evening, Billy and Cliff and Mir. Everybody's sounding good over here. So conditions are kind of tough, but not bad. And Tony, I also wanted to know what that net, the 3938 net, what that was doing, what kind of net it is. And very good on your new time management system. So, yeah, once you get called up, hopefully it won't be too bad. And okay on Chuck looking for someone to tag team with down to Orlando. I kind of bounced the idea off of Brown, but he didn't respond back. I'm actually kind of what's the word? Well, he already had a hotel room, so we're going to be splitting it. So I'm already imposing is the word. So, but I was trying, I was kind of hoping, saying, well, maybe we could do a cot or something. But anyway, I hope Chuck finds somebody to go with. Let's see. Okay, Steve, on your wife and the heart thing. My brother-in-law, Brad Bill, who recently moved from Clayton back up close to us, well, 20 minutes from us, he has a pacemaker defibrillator installed inside of him, and he's remotely monitored. And a couple of days ago, he had an episode where his heart stopped for 16 seconds. So they zapped him remotely. And he had been in his lounge chair, and he had a little dog on his lap, and he said he woke up and the dog was licking his face. So the dog probably sensed something was going on too. So anyway, it's a crazy world we live in these days. So anyway, well, better though. Yes, I've just got to go through a whole bunch more stuff here and try to figure out what I can take, and I'm not sure how much room Brown's going to have or not. Also, William Culpepper has a bunch of stuff that needs to be sold as well, so we're going to take as much as we can of that down there. So, back over to you, Billy, and hope you can figure out the arcing issue. KO4SSY in the group, KN4R. I'm sorry, Tony, take it away, K4QE, KN4R.
All right, very good. Yeah, good evening to Billy and Cliff and my ear. Good to hear you guys. My ear, it's kind of funny, and I've observed this on your signal before. You come in like gangbusters at first, got a good strong carrier, and your audio is well up there and easily hearable, and then all of a sudden, about halfway through your transmission, you fade down to nothing, even though the carrier's still there. Very bizarre. But anyway, that's what I observed here. It's the same thing that I've heard before. And Cliff, the storms that Steve mentioned them earlier just before you got on. There's a massive storm front running through the heart of Texas right now, and it looks pretty nasty. I got a friend who lives in just south of Austin, and I'm sure he's buckling down, getting ready for it. He gets real nervous when those lightning storms hit. He said he's never lived in a place that had lightning so bad, and he used to live in Florida, so that's saying something. And the net that I'm net control on is the North Carolina single sideband net. It used to be an official traffic net in the NTS system for the state of North Carolina. But at some point about, I'm going to say 20 or 30 years ago, what is now called the Zen net, I think that's what it's called, is the Tar Heel net, is the official net for the state of North Carolina now. They usurped the position of the North Carolina single sideband net. the North Carolina single sideband that's been around for well over 60 years, probably closer to 70 at this point. And a lot of the guys who get on that frequency have been members of the net or friends of the net for many decades. I've been around the net for about 20 years or so, off and on over the years. I became a net control about 5 years ago. But it's an informal net. Like I said, it's no longer part of the NTS, so there's no traffic that gets handled. It's just a health and welfare net, as they call it, just to make sure everybody's still breathing and able to talk on the air. So there you go. There's a lot of old timers, and then we got a few young ones, here and there. So I'm somewhere in the middle, towards the old end. But it's all good. And anyone is welcome to check in. Like there's an informal session goes before and after the net. And the net itself, all we do is check in, give our names, where we are, and that's it. And then we close the net, and the frequency's back open for rack chewing. And there's usually an awful lot of that going on. So the guys who populate that frequency, we have get-togethers during the course of the year. One of the big get-togethers is the Berryville Ham Fest in Northern Virginia. That's a real good time. And speaking of Ham Fest, I wonder if you guys are going to be any of you are going to be going to the Klingman Ham Fest in Ronda, North Carolina. I intend to go. John usually goes with me, so I anticipate that we'll both be there. And of course, we're both intending on going to Charlotte, so hope to see many of you there. And I'll pass it on over to Billy if he can hear me. KO4FFY from K4QE.
N4QE. KO4FFY. And the group, good evening, everybody. I'm going to make this my final. Get downstairs with the wife. Been up here piddling this stupid Valiant again. I don't know. Cliff, I took a terminal strip out of the Heath kit, and I pulled those two wires loose from it, everything that went to it, and I spun that, left everything else connected to that when it spun it around, and put that other one in there, which had a grounded center, but had one on each end, so I moved them about a quarter of an inch apart. They was probably at least a half inch apart, but I don't know, as soon as I turned started cranking the audio up to get that thing to modulate where you could hear the audio. I could hear it faint on Brandon's SDR. I could tell it, but it was just so faint. I don't know why it's not putting no audio out. Wattage and everything's correct, but it seems like when you load that thing up, it won't start off no matter what. I put that other one in there, and as soon as I loaded it up tight, it started trying to get that audio up. It arced off again, and so I took that one loose and just stuck them straight together and taped it up, the one that arced that time. Put it back together, started trying to get the audio up again, and then the other one arced off again. So what is causing it to do that? I don't know if I got a bad tube on the 6146 is it causing it or what, but I'm about done. About done all I can do with it. Anyway, enough of that. Well, I hope y'all have a safe trip, you and Brian and everybody going. We're supposed to be going up to PA to a sportsman show here. I'll be leaving Wednesday and be up there Thursday and Friday, Harrisburg. I won't be going to Orlando for sure. So, good evening once again to all. On over to UPF WB4NKL 73 from here.
Okay, Billy, KO4SSY, WB4NKL. I don't know what's going on in your transmitter. If you don't have that secondary loaded real good, it'll arc more than, you know, if it's, I mean, if you're getting full output of your transmitter, you shouldn't be, should have it, the transformer loaded well. But you didn't mention RF output, but I can't tube or anything wouldn't cause it. It sounds like the insulation's just breaking down, and it'll break down the ground. That terminal strip you put in there with the ground in the center, you know, it can break the ground as easy as it can between those two leads. I got into that Ranger. It had a little bit of hum. We had a couple of problems. It was distorted and the hum, and found one of the output tubes had intermittent filament, the 1614s, 6L6s. And one of them was running cold part of the time, so I resoldered the pins on that, and that seemed to fix that problem. The hum, somebody had taken the key jack out and put a stereo jack in there to use for the microphone where that key jack was at. And I was looking at the output of the preamp on the scope, and it had all kinds of hum in it, just looking at it on the scope. And I kept thinking it was something going on with the shield, or, you know, some kind of ground loop. I took it all loose, and it was still there. Run another piece of shielded cable. I come to find out that where that key jack is at is so close to that high voltage choke, the leads, it was picking up hum off those leads, and it was only about a ½ inch apart when you mount the jack there where the key jack's at. So I moved the jack up to where the original microphone hole was with some washers. Somebody had already taken out that original mic, and that fixed it, just moving it about another inch away from those high voltage leads, and that's what it was. It was picking up off those choke leads. And then he had another problem with his D104 that he was trying to use on it. Somebody put a dynamic element in it, so had three problems. That dynamic element just don't have enough drive to drive the Ranger low impedance dynamic element. Somebody stuck in a D104 head. So I'm having more trouble copying mirror. I copied, like Tony is saying, copied the first part, and then I sort of missed out there on the last. So try it again, mirror. WF2U, WB4NKL.
Roger, WA2. Yes, what am I saying? WB4NKL. Matt, this is WF2U. I copy you pretty well, Chris. No problems whatsoever. The noise is a little high, but you'll have a pretty good signal. You're almost as strong as Steve. I have no problem. This time I didn't have any problems copying Philly either. The first couple of times I couldn't copy at all, but those signals came up and way above the noise, so pretty good copy. On the other hand, I can't copy Tony. Didn't copy anything. I just heard him under the noise, but I couldn't make out anything because of the static. So anyway, Steve, good to hear that you're starting to work on the T150, and would be nice if eventually we can hear it, and hopefully you'll sound just as good as the other one. So let's see. Basically, that's all I have to say right now, and I'll keep it short. So Steve and 4LQ, this is WF2U.
Okay, Mayor. This is N4LQ. Anybody else want to check in with us tonight? Give me a call. Nothing Hood. All right. Well, I copied you okay both times, Mir. That mic is, of course, when you get too close to it, it does kind of distort, which is understandable. And I think when you back off from it just a little bit, it starts getting weaker. So just carbon mic syndrome, I guess. Anyway, let's see. And real fine on the Ranger, Cliff. That's, well, I don't know. I've put stereo mic jacks on just about everything. But now I don't think I did it on a Ranger, and I did on the Viking 1 here because it had one of those center button type jacks on the screw jack on the front panel. At least it was on the front panel. But I wanted some form of push to talk, so I just put a stereo jack on the front where that was, and it was super easy to do. And I just ran the push to talk into the key, CW key line, and so now when you squeeze the mic, it keys it, which is what you were doing anyway. Anyway, that triggers it, and out comes the power, and then the RF sensor switch takes over. But that's leaving here tomorrow, going to Climax, to Jim's place, and he's going to be the proud owner of it, and maybe he'll sound better now. I think it works pretty well. Get about 80 or 90 watts out of it anyway. And I think this morning he was on a DX40, and those poor little things are doing good to put out about 6 watts. That's about it on the carrier. On the Valiant, I just made up an adapter for that 2-pin jack. So I got a 2-pin plug on one end and a stereo female inline jack on the other end of the cable, and I could just plug in whatever mic I want with it. So that's how we do it. Let's see, what else did I have here? Thanks for the info on the net, Tony. Yeah, NTS. I never did participate in NTS on phone, but I was really, really into it back in the 60s when I was younger on CW, and it seemed to me it seemed like it was almost an important part of ham radio back in those days, because we actually did pass some traffic. I don't think anybody passed anything life-saving or anything, but back when it started back in 1917 or something, that a lot of people didn't have phones or telegraph or anything else, and ham radio came in pretty handy at times. But it would take sometimes a couple of days for traffic to get to the recipient, even in the 60s, by ham radio. But we had the local net, the state net, and then it went to the regional net, which was like 3 states, then to the central net, which was a big area, central area net, and from there the Transcontinental Corp, which were dedicated people to passing traffic between the area nets, and so that's how the Pacific area net rep and the central area net rep would meet on 20 meters usually and pass traffic. And there was a lady named May, I'm thinking it was May West, but that doesn't sound right. But she won the Brass Pounders League Award every month. I mean, she was dedicated to passing thousands of pieces of traffic every day. Anyway, so much for that. And 73s to Billy, and I hope you can get that thing, that Archer, fixed up, because I know Yeah, I think you're just going to have to replace that terminal strip. Anyway, go ahead, Brian, KN4R, N4LQ.
Yeah, okay, Steve, very good. M4LQ in the group, KN4R. All right, very good. Very good on your C-150, Progress C, and also the Tony, the North Carolina single sideband net, and Steve talking about the traffic system. All very interesting. Let's see. Tony, I looked up. Klingman is March 2nd. Starts at 8 a.m. And I put it on my calendar, but we've got grandkids that day, and there was also something else going on, so I doubt I'll make it. But it's an interesting little ham fest, and I'll tell you, the stuff usually sells pretty good too, because there's not a whole lot of folks selling. So certainly one that's good to go to. And of course, I'm glad to hear you're going to Charlotte. Charlotte's just about full already, so that's pretty exciting too. So. And let's see, I've got to get ready for the old military radio net, which cranks up at 0500 on 3885 tomorrow. And got to go to a birthday party. Then I got to come back and do a Zoom for the CW Club, Long Island CW Club. And then I got to get Larry in here and start doing stuff with him. So it's a lot of stuff going on. So over to you, Tony. K4QE in the group, KN4R.
All right, very good. Good signals all around. Heard everybody just fine. I'm sorry to hear that Mir's unable to copy me. I copied Billy just fine on that last transmission. I did not hear him on the previous ones, except for when he was initially trying to check in. But even then, he wasn't as strong as he was on that last transmission. But anyway, really great to hear everybody tonight. I'm going to slip on out of here. I got to do something for my wife, and then I'm probably going to stay out there with her and watch a little TV tonight. I need to step away from the radio. I've been in this office way too long today. So everyone have a great night. Good to hear you, and looking forward to talking to y'all again real soon. Over to you, Billy, KO4SSY from K4QE.
SWB4NKL. I think Billy checked on out. So I'll take it. 73s to you too, Tony. Good copy. And Mayor, I copied you fine that go around. It's just that static is pretty wild up here. But I copied you 100% the last go around. Now, Steve, I like those quarter-inch stereo jacks for mic jacks. And then I left that one in. I just moved it up to that hole where the regular mic jack was at. It was just too close to those choke leads down there, and it put quite a bit of, you could tell it, and just moving it an inch away, it made all the difference in the world on the hum. So you don't want to get too close to those. See, that was something else I was going to mention. I got a deal on selling Jim some radio equipment. The guy's supposed to come over and pick up the Navigator. He's coming up tomorrow about 11:30. So I got him, and I think Dave's coming to get the Ranger. So I'll be around here tomorrow, expecting company. So I'll send it on around. Go ahead, Mayor. WF2U, it's WB4NKL.
Yeah, Roger. WB4NKL. And the net, this is WF4. Very good this time. Click just like before. And Tommy, I copied you this time. Your signal came out of the noise. So I copied it. Brian, you sound good. And you're going to have a busy day tomorrow, it looks like. Anyway, I have a busy day tomorrow. I have to help the XYL taking some stuff out of storage. Finally, she got a booth at an antique shop in Tryon, and she stored all her collection, all her stuff that she's been collecting, and she just wants to get it whittled down a little bit. So she has an awful lot of stuff. So I have to help her out setting up that little booth. She's not going to sit there, of course, to sell because it's the store that does it. She just has to give a certain percentage of the sales. So that will solve that. We don't have to pay for storage, and she might be able to make some money too. But we'll do it. I told her that I'll be happy to help, of course. But after the Midwest military radio collectors met, and after that, I'm a willing party to her endeavors. And that's what's happening here. Okay. So, yes, Steve, I think I'm learning how far to speak from this microphone. I might just do something because I have solid state microphones that are made to replace carbon mics, especially in aircraft. The voltage that feeds the carbon element simply powers up the preamp in it, and it's usually a condenser mic. And then it has an output equivalent to a carbon mic. So I might try to do that. I think I have a spare GRC type audio connector. I'll make an adapter for that aircraft mic, and see, it's a commercial mic, not military. So we'll see how that sounds. Anyway, so back to you, Steve, there. N4LQ, W off to you.
All right. Very good, Mayor. This is N4LQ, standing by one more time for any late check-ins. All right, we'll find on the microphone solid state mic, condenser mic to replace a carbon mic. Now that sounds like a good idea. I'm sure it would sound better. I mean, I would love to hear it if you can pull that off. So anxious to hear what that sounds like. And Cliff, fine on the Navigator. Yeah, I wonder if you did as well as I did on mine. And yours, that sounds like it was probably more valuable with the correct meter. Mine had an aftermarket meter, if you will, but it was also one of those bang meters. So it didn't really improve it any. But I suspect the original meter went bad. At least that's what a lot of people experienced, and some people have fixed them and what have you. But some of the cheap rigs had cheap meters, like my Amicos. They got a horrible meter. It is very difficult to dip the plate. You have to sit there and wait for it to stop bouncing around. And I think the DX40, is that way. Now the DX60 is nice. It's got a good D'Arsenval movement in it, and so do the Johnson equipment. At least the Ranger does. And it looks like the meter in this T150 is a pretty nice one too. It actually moved a little bit today. I saw some buffer current, just a little bit is all there was. But the VFO is actually oscillating, and I can hear it in my receiver, and it's just a little weak, rough note, but that's a beginning of something wonderful going to happen. Well, Gary and K3OS is coming to get the ICO tomorrow at 2 o'clock, and Jim will be here too, also at 2 o'clock, so we'll have a little get-together here after lunch and sit here and shoot the bull. That's my plan for tomorrow. And I'm thinking seriously about investing in a 300-foot extension cord so I don't have to piece all these cords together. I've got some on Amazon that look pretty good. And that saw requires 13 amps and 14 gauge. It's plenty heavy to take care of it. Even with 3 cheap, 1 good cord and 2 cheap cords, that saw ran just beautifully and cut right through that huge tree. So back to you, Brian. I think you're still with us. I know Tony is gone and Billy's gone, and I'm not sure about Cliff. Anyway, go ahead, Brian. KN4R, N4LQ.
Yeah, okay, Steve. N4LQ in the group, KN4R. Well, very good on the navigators and the ICOs and all sorts of equipment getting repaired and finding new homes. That's terrific. And let's see. Oh shoot, I had something I was going to say, and it totally went by me. Oh, Tony, I don't know if you're still listening or not, but I saw your email response to Glenn about his ACOM 1000. I sent Glenn like four emails in November telling him exactly what mine was doing and how much it cost and who repaired it and everything else. And it sounds like he needs a new tube to me. But anyway, I had never heard from him. So I sent him another email just saying, hey, if you want to discuss, let me know. But so anyway, but that sounds like he's going to have to get a new tube in that. You know, maybe somebody like Charlie can help him replace that tube, because there is a little bit of, you know, a few steps to go through to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and say 73. Enjoyed it, and hope everybody has a great day tomorrow. And I'll be around, and hopefully on Sunday I can let Larry W3LW take the mic, say hello to everybody. So 73 is all, and I'm going to pass it to Cliff, WV4NKL, and the group, KN4R.
Okay, Brian. Well, 73s, and I guess I'll jump out too. It's approaching 9 o'clock. And good deal, Steve, on the company. Sound like we're in the same boat there. I got a couple hams to be here tomorrow too, so it's always nice to have company. So 73s, and we'll probably try to make it in again tomorrow night. Go ahead, Mir, WF2U, WB4NKL.
Very good, Cliff. WB4NKL. And everybody else who's left here, this is WF2U. And good night, Brian. Have a good day. Tomorrow, have fun. And I guess I'll be on tomorrow night as well. Let's see. Steve, interesting. I was just, before I came out, while I was eating dinner, I was looking at eBay for ham transmitters just to see what's out there. There were at least 5 AF67s. There was one AF68. There was like, I think 3 Harvey Wells DB 50 type things. One had a Bandmaster VFO, looked absolutely mint. Of course, $400, and the others were a little bit less. But it's interesting that only one AF67 looked mint even cosmetically for about 150 something, I think, 150 bucks. They were due for around $50 to $70, and they looked the usual little pretty kind of runny condition, which is like mine, but inside it's fine and it's working great. Anyway, I guess it's almost 9 o'clock, so I might as well just have my final now, and I'll say 73. Have a good night, everybody, and Steve, I'll be here tomorrow. And so where are you taking? Is there a Hamfest tomorrow or something? I'm not aware of it. So 73, Clint and Steve, N4LQ. This is WFTU 73 listening.
Roger, Mayor. Yeah, the Hamfest is at my house. I got Gary K3OS and Jim K. Gosh, I can't remember his call. He checks in early in the morning on that net, but he's over in Climax, which is not too far from Liberty, and he's coming to get the Viking 1 tomorrow at 2 o'clock. So that's what's going on. Hey, you're welcome to come. More the merrier. But that's all it is. And yeah, there's some nice looking stuff. Somebody about a week ago had an AF67 PMR7 and the power supply, the matching PS2, the big one. Let's see, all the interconnect cables and all kinds of stuff. It was all like a big plug and play kit, and the equipment looked like it was just out of the factory. There was not one sign of wear on it. Even the knobs had the chrome inserts in the middle, and that's just unheard of. Very few AF67 has them, or if they do have them, they're rusty. But this thing was just immaculate, and it was $300 and some it went for, and I was tempted to bid on it. I really was, and I should have probably, but I should have bought those, and I think shipping was over $100. But I would have bought those and tried to sell the rest of them. It's hard to find one, especially with a clear meter. They're all fogged up, and the yellow dial, and man, this stuff was just absolutely perfect. Anyway, I'm not that fond of the receiver. The squelch RF gain BFO thing is kind of weird. I think they realized that on the PMR8 and got rid of that stuff. But otherwise, it's okay. It just doesn't have enough selectivity. So there's a Harvey Wells T90 on there too. That looks pristine. That guy has got several nice rigs, and the matching power supply for the Harvey Wells T90. It's pretty expensive, but if you want, first class, that's the way to go. We'll see you all later, 73s. Have a great night. This is N4LQ closing the net.
73, Steve. Oh yeah, I saw that T90. I just don't know. The dial, the scale was completely invisible, so I don't know if it's even there. And I didn't know whether it has 160 or not. I was going to look it up, but yeah, I'm not going to spend that kind of money on something like that. It's nice, but no thanks. So good night, Steve. M4LQ WSC.